SmackDown 9/6/24. This, your amplified review. In what has not been amplified as of late, SmackDown. Was last night's show able to turn things around? The last ever WWE SmackDown on Fox. As next week, SmackDown debuts on the USA Network. Fox gave SmackDown Das Boot. Did not want another contract with WWE because they felt the ratings were not where they should have been. They were not getting a good return on their investment. They debuted at nearly 4 million viewers in 2019, October 4th. Nearly 4 million viewers. Fox was hoping for that sweet spot, right between 2.8 and 3.3. Stay consistent at 3 million. Business is good. SmackDown was only able to garner, on average, 2.2 to 2.3. In the last few weeks, the way they will end their relationship, barely staying afloat, 2 million viewers, 2.05, basically the last 2 weeks. So Fox said, it ain't worth the billions we're giving you. No thank you. So the USA Network picks up where Fox did not want to keep going. USA Network needs WWE to put their best foot forward. USA Network does not want to just pull in the Raw ratings they're getting, which is a 1.6, by the way, without NFL football competition. No Monday Night Football, a 1.6. They don't want that, especially on a Friday night. So they're hoping that WWE puts a show out last night that's going to catapult that audience to tune in next week because it's must-see TV. Not, we can skip it TV. Must-see TV. So what did WWE do last night, right? The big main event. You're thinking there's going to be a massive cliffhanger, right? You have to have one of the best cliffhangers we have seen in pro wrestling history last night. This is a massive move. You're going from broadcast television over to cable television. You can't do USA Network dirty like that. It's got to be a massive cliffhanger, not just a good or not even just a really good cliffhanger. You're not going to believe what WWE did last night. If you were wondering how massive the level of non-care is in this company, how they literally are just looking at the financials and going, record business. We don't have to care. If you were wondering, it was never more amplified than how this show ended last night. You would have thought you were watching a replay of SmackDown, a replay of a replay of a replay of a replay of a replay. We'll talk about it. We're also going to talk Giovanni Vinci, right? Giovanni returned to WWE television on last night's SmackDown. They say you only get one shot at a first impression. Well, Giovanni is a fortunate dude. He got two, right? He had that stint with Gunther and Ludwig, and to say that was less than desirable would be an understatement. So he takes this time off. You're hoping that during this time, they're repackaging the dude correctly, and they have a plan when he returns. So he gets this second chance, right? He gets to show everybody why we should care about Giovanni Vinci. And you're not going to believe how Hunter Hearst Helmsley brought this dude back last night. A lot of you guys don't watch the shows. You just listen to BC's reviews. And I appreciate that. Much love and respect for trusting BC to be your number one source for these reviews. But if you did not watch this show, this actually happened last night. If you did watch the show and you're trying to forget that segment, you're hoping that Hunter went to the bathroom for a second and maybe Vince like snuck into Gorilla real quick, changed some things. No, that's not what happened. If you did watch this show, you're trying to forget it, we have to talk about Giovanni Vinci's re-debut as a singles competitor, because this, even if you want to go, no, don't worry, BC, there's a plan, man. Just let it play out. You can't do that. You You can't do that. That's one of those things you file under the category of that you can't do. Most would agree, right? That is not how you would bring somebody back to be an absolute joke. We'll talk about it. Michin. I don't know what happened with Michin. And this is coming from, I am becoming a huge supporter of Chelsea Green. I'll explain when we get to that part of the review. I got to spend a minute on Chelsea Green in this review. But Michin goes from a championship street fight against Nia to a loss that is still puzzling. You should not piggyback off of the big championship loss into a Chelsea loss. I don't care how many doo-doo drops there are at ringside. We'll talk about Michin's questionable booking. We'll talk Kevin Owens. If this is not the company screaming, we have nothing for Kevin Owens, you're not going to believe how they booked Kevin Owens last night. Cody Rhodes, I want to say, you got to feel bad for the dude, but, this was... I don't know if there was another way that this was going to go for Cody Rhodes. This was almost inevitable. What am I talking about? So Cody Rhodes last night... Do we just wait till the review, or how much do I give in the cold open teaser? Because I don't know if I can properly tease this in the cold open without actually talking about it. So I'm going to hold off on that, guys. There's a big discussion on Cody Rhodes. Thankfully, it started the show, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Because Cody Rhodes, man, fans are turning on Cody pretty vividly lately, and it's not just like a certain part of the fan base. It's even like the supporters, they're subconsciously turning on Cody. I'll explain. I'll give you an example, a huge example during the first segment of SmackDown. That now it's even subconsciously people are growing tired of the Cody Rhodes act. And this was inevitable. And for everybody that said he's got to finish his story, that should have been at 39. Once that botch was made and they decided to keep the title on Roman, that was it. That story was done at that point. You can't go wait another whole year and the whole storyline is just the story being finished. And it felt like, I'm not saying I was, but it felt like I was the only dude in the community that was screaming from the mountaintop, no, Cody should not be finishing any story right now. Now it's not the time. 39 was, not 40. And everybody wanted to change the main event of Rock and Roman so they could have Cody finishing the story, not thinking they're not going to have anything for Cody going forward. And when that happens, the whole kingdom will come crumbling down. You're starting to see it already. Dude's been champion for what, 6 months barely? April, May, June, July, August. We just started September. Not even 6 full months. We'll say 6 months. And fans are already like, this ain't it. We got to make the change. That was inevitable. We'll talk about it. That was the first segment. But Cody Rhodes, man, during his segment last night, there was a chant that broke out. And that's when BC went, whoa, that's really happening. We'll talk about it. What else? I don't know. LA Knight absolutely shredded Melo and Andrade on the mic. We got to talk Andrade, man. This ain't working. It ain't working. We'll talk about that. And again, that boring-ass 8-man tag. You're not going to believe how we ended the last SmackDown ever on Fox. And the big cliffhanger to get us over to USA Network. The effort that WWE put into this show last night when it went off the air. Or lack thereof. SmackDown 9/6/24. The Amplified review. Let's do this. My Green Bay Packers, by the way, lost. They were going up against SmackDown last night. It was the Packers versus the Eagles, but that was a streaming service. That was on Peacock exclusively. So a lot of people are going to use that as an excuse. Whatever the rating is, they're just going to use that game. WWE still has to put their best foot forward. It's not direct competition on broadcast television for sure. And that was a game that started at 8:20, by the way. SmackDown is an 8 to 10 show. If you're booking properly, you're going to take a little hit from the NFL, but it shouldn't be that big if you're putting a really good product out. But the Packers and Eagles, we lost by, what was it, like 34-29, something like that. I think it was 34-29. It was a slippery field in Brazil. The field was just, Jordan Love, our quarterback, we just spent $220 million on. I thought he broke his ankle in the second to last play. So it came down to a Hail Mary. We don't have our starting quarterback. Our backup comes up. This guy doesn't even look like he should be making coffee, let alone throwing a ball 60 yards. So he drops back, he slips, he gets his footing back. Instead of heaving the ball, he gets nervous. He looks to his right and his left, and he gets sacked. And that's how the game ends. We didn't even have a chance to throw the Hail Mary. That's all we needed you to do. I know you're a backup. You only have to drop back 5 yards and heave the ball into the end zone. That's all you had to do. One thing. You slip, you get nervous, you get sacked. You did all three things wrong. And that's the game. We didn't even have a chance to have the ball in the end zone. Right? Just a chance. Right? Our old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, he was the Hail Mary king. It seemed like every time he threw a Hail Mary, that was going to land in a green and gold jersey. A Green Bay Packer was going to get it. Now, I mean, Jordan Love's injured. The backup can't even get the ball out of his hands. And the Packers lose the opener of the season. We are now 0-1. Wins and losses matter. In pro wrestling, they matter, and especially in the NFL. So, if you're wondering at times why BC's a little more amplified, I am not the most thrilled individual this morning. Still a little frustrated at how that game went. And again, the field was just not ready. It wasn't. Players are slipping. They're trying to find the right cleat combination. Players are getting injured. You can't play a football game if it's not properly ready. The field, man, everything has to be. How do you not do this? You knew this game was going to happen months in advance. They turned a soccer field into a football field. That's great. But the football players cannot be slipping and sliding like it's a slip and slide at the water park. All right, this is not a football review. But yeah, a little frustrated, or a lot frustrated at how that game played out last night. Packers are now 0-1. We are losers going into week 2. SmackDown 9/6/24. That's what you came for. Let's talk about it. Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline start the show. Solo wants a rematch for the title. Cody offers it to Jacob Fatu instead. Jacob Fatu declines the title match. He looks at Solo. He says, "You, I acknowledge as my tribal chief." And Solo is looking at him like, "I raised you right, my son. My Simba." Right? Is that Simba? Who's the... Yeah. Mufasa is the dad. Simba's the kid. Yeah. So it's like, "I raised you right, Simba." Well, who was the villain then? Scar! That's who it was, Scar. I don't know. The coffee is starting to hit. Don't worry. So he's looking at him like, "I raised you right, Simba. I raised you right, Jacob Fatu." So Fatu gets off the apron. He's like, "I acknowledge you. I am not taking this title match. That's yours, Tribal Chief Solo." So Cody says, "All right, I figured I'd take the shot anyway." So Cody accepts Solo's challenge for next week's SmackDown. I told you guys this was going to happen in yesterday's upload. I told you guys if it's a massive botch if you wait to Bad Blood or a PLE to do Solo and Cody again, because there's no interest in it. And WWE knows this. That's why they made this decision. So they just said, "You know what? We need a matchup for the premiere on the USA Network next week. Let's just do Cody and Solo, the rematch. Let's just do it next week. Free television, no harm, no foul." Right? It's a big enough match for the debut on USA, but we know it's not a big enough match for another PLE. So they made the match for next week, just as BC said should happen in yesterday's upload. And then Nick Aldis made that a steel cage, by the way, because again, I don't think they thought there was enough substance there. They know that a lot of fans they were not on board with the original match at SummerSlam. We were just okay with it because we knew it was going to bring back Roman Reigns. So they were like, all right, even just making this match on cable, or back on cable, USA Network, we still don't feel that's enough. Let's make it a steel cage, and hopefully that'll generate enough buzz. And then the biggest news here is what happened during the promo, though, right? So Cody accepts Solo's challenge. All this makes it a steel cage, whatever. But the crowd chanting heavily in Canada, heavily chanting for Roman Reigns. We want Roman chants in front of Cody Rhodes and Solo. Cody Rhodes is making a title match with this dude. And the fans are overlooking Cody Rhodes. They want Roman Reigns instead. They'd rather Roman take out Solo again, even though he already delivered the Superman punch to Solo and knocked him out. So I don't know what more you need to see. But that crowd chanted heavily last night during the promo as Cody Rhodes is trying to speak. We want Roman. As Cody and Solo are having this promo, we want Roman. It was at that moment BC realized it's not just like a division of the fan base that's like online or those that maybe weren't fans of Cody anyway. Even subconsciously, like Cody's fans, they're kind of on to the next already, right? Oh, we just want Roman. Cody is making a title match. And they're chanting for Roman Reigns. Never, if Hulk Hogan back in the day was making a title match with somebody, would you hear chants over Hogan of Ultimate Warrior, right? We want Warrior. Never would you, I mean, if Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the ring making a title match, you wouldn't hear chants of, I almost said John Cena, that's a different era. But you wouldn't hear chants of Rocky, and he was really big during that era as well. But you were so invested in what Stone Cold's doing. You were so happy to have Stone Cold, and you wanted Stone Cold, and the company gave you Stone Cold. And here we are. The company gives you Cody Rhodes. They're making a title match, and we want Roman is the big chant. They're not saying they want this match. They're not saying, yeah, Cody's in front of us. They're saying we want Roman. That's a massive problem. When you position Cody as your number one face, when you give him the North Star, the championship of all championships in the industry is what Cody claims. When you give him that, and they're chanting for a dude more than you, they're chanting for, in their eyes, an even bigger star than your babyface right now. Your top babyface. That's a problem. That is a massive problem. Cody Rhodes, now the question has to be asked, and I think it's rhetorical, is his act becoming stale? Is his act growing cold? That's what's happening. It's been happening. You start to see the last month especially, a lot of fans turning on Cody Rhodes. A lot of them were the same fans that were claiming he's got to finish his story. We cannot have Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. It's got to be Cody. He's got to finish the story because he didn't at 39. Well, blame Hunter Hearst Helmsley for that. And Cody laying down next to the rubber chicken. Just because that botch was made does not mean you can just go right back to it like nothing happened the entire year. WrestleMania 40 shows up and, hey, we got to do it again. Hopefully Hunter gets it right this time. And by the way, Hunter didn't even know what he already knew it was going to be Rock Roman, still had Cody win the Rumble, and then Hunter said, we were just kind of winging it at that point. We didn't know what to do. And then Cody recently said, you don't want to know the plan they ended up with. You don't want to know the plan that Hunter had. And I'm not even going to say it because it would make you more angry. That was a quote from Cody Rhodes. So he recently just said, when they finally did come up with like a plan, he's not even going to tell us that because it was so bad. And it would have made us angry. That's Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So he didn't have that plan at 39 when he had him laying down next to that rubber chicken, losing that matchup. He didn't have a plan like, 40, Cody's going to win this thing. He knew that anything can happen. It's an option, right? He had it as an option for sure. Maybe at 40 we'll revisit this. But he knows Hunter's been in the business for a long time. Things change, and most likely it's going to be Rock Roman. And that's what ended up happening. And they knew that before the Rumble. But it got convoluted. There was a portion of the fan base around WrestleMania that absolutely just lost their shit. And they just started screaming, Cody's got to finish his story. And BC was one of the only people that were like, no, hold on. Guys, I'm a supporter of Cody, but the story's done, man. The story ended at 39 next to the rubber chicken. That's done. Or you better get really creative and have much more than just finish the story for 40, because a lot of fans like BC we're not going to be sold on that. Well, they didn't. They just gave us the same old tired, he's got to finish his story. And those fans got their way, and BC said, all right, but watch what happens next, because his company is not creative enough to have anything fun or worthy or captivating for Cody Rhodes. And guess what? And this is not a pat on the back. Trust me when I say that, man. This is not a pat on the back. I did not want to be right about this, but I knew I was going to be. Cody Rhodes, already, fans are turning. The ones that said he's got to finish his story, they're already starting to say things like, this title reign is stale. This title reign is into a brick wall. This title reign in Cody's booking is straight trash. This Cody booking is not fun. This Cody booking doesn't make sense. This Cody booking is just not good. It's gotten to the point where we're just taking on a dude who lost 41 matches in a row, solo Sikoa, and challenging his own friend Kevin Owens because there's nobody else. Challenging guys like Jacob Fatu, who's just like, title match? No, thank you. It's weird. BC will be the first to tell you, but BC was also the first to tell you that this was going to happen. Anybody that watches the channel for a while, and by the way, even if you just watched a few months before WrestleMania, if you just came across the channel and subscribed right before WrestleMania, you knew BC was saying this from the jump. You want him to finish the story, and then what? You better have a game plan. 39 was it. All the stars aligned. That crowd was ready to absolutely explode. Cody Rhodes already had a feud set up with Brock Lesnar that would have made immense sense, right? Brock could not take on Roman because the stipulation when they last fought was if Brock loses, he can't take on Roman for the title anymore. Well, he did not win. So Brock was waiting for somebody to take that championship. And that was the next feud, guys. The next Monday night. The very next show on Monday Night Raw, Brock attacks Cody. There's just one massive problem. He didn't have the title, so there was no story. And then throughout the whole summer, we had that feud, and Michael Cole kept asking the question we all were. Why? We don't know why Brock did that. Because WWE didn't know, and they didn't even care to give us a reason. Because the original reason was supposed to be Cody was going to get the title and Roman was going to go on vacation for the rest of the year, basically. He'd come back a few times like he did and have matches. A lot of them were tag team matches with Bloodline and such. And that's what happened. He went on vacation, had a few more matches for the year, just a couple two-tree. The problem is they had him take the title on vacation with him, and they had Cody the loser. And then they were like, I don't even know now. I just have Brock attack him anyway. And then it was off to the races. The rest of the year, after the Brock feud, was Cody and Judgment Day 8,415 times. So then when Cody was beyond just repetitive garbage booking-wise, right, after seeing him in the Judgment Day for the rest of the year, then all of a sudden, we start talking about the story again. Because it's WrestleMania time, so Cody's got to go back to the story. This is what I knew was going to happen. I was hoping that they would catch fire and that Cody Rhodes his booking would be ignited, right? Even if it is garbage, they would find a way to make it work. That's what I was hoping for. But no, they haven't. I think the Kevin Owens thing for Bash in Berlin, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, where even casual fans, even big Cody fans were like, this is weird. This is the one time I will say this is no longer working, right? And now you're starting to see where they just want Roman Reigns, man. It's like Cody is in front of them. They're making this big matchup for the title, supposedly big matchup, and they're just chanting for Roman. That's where we've come. The champion of the world, of the North Star, the champion of champions is in front of you. We want Roman loud AF. One of the loudest chants of the night. Or we want Roman in front of Cody Rhodes. And it goes in line with what you're starting to see in the community. A lot of fans think that Cody's act has grown cold and stale. And that's another thing. It was only a matter of time, man. You come out in the damn suit. That's a heel thing. We all know that, right? Chris Jericho's big heel run when he always wore the suit, right? And he would talk slow like this. I'm a legend, Chris Jericho. And he had that damn suit on. Miz and all of his heel runs with his damn suit. Evolution were heels. They'd come out in the damn suits, right? That's a heel thing. Cody found a way to make it work, though. Cool, but there's moments for it. You can't come to the ring about to take on 4 or 5 dudes in a brawl with your 5-piece on. And your dress shoes all polished up. You can't do that, man. It's only a matter of time before that act is going to run cold. You know, a lot of what you see with Cody Rhodes is very genuine, very, very good, cool dude. IRL, what you see is what you get. A lot of that is Cody. A lot of it also is trying to be something. He's admitted this, trying to be something that he's not, like a John Cena. He really tries, and he makes a conscious decision to do such, to model himself after John Cena. And you can see where that is kind of taking precedent. And it comes off, yes, as phony at times. He's trying too hard to be this, the 5-piece and the smiling and trying to say the right thing and keeping composure, not getting amplified, too cool for school. You start to see that, and it's trying to be John Cena too much. More authentic Cody is fine. But when he tries to be too much John Cena, I think it backfires. And it's only a matter of time before those qualities start to kind of shine a little brighter. And it's almost like heel qualities, right? It's a lot of what you would see in a heel. The smirking, the suits, the condescending tone, right? Always trying to be too cool for school and talk a little lower and calmer. And it was only a matter of time. And now you're starting to see a lot of fans just kind of turn on Cody. And not saying it's right, but it was inevitable. You take the presentation of Cody, you mix it with really questionable to even bad booking, and here you are. Here you are with fans, a lot of fans on the social doohickey machines, on the online for sure, just kind of like, all right, this is growing tiresome. Cody's reign is boring. They don't have anything for him. Is this what we're supposed to do all the way to WrestleMania? You're starting to see that. And in the live crowds, when Cody is in front of you, they're asking for Roman Reigns. That's what they did last night. Cody didn't even acknowledge it, right? They had no choice but to stop the promo and let the crowd chant it. And then Cody just kept on going with his promo to Solo. That's what happened. Because Cody knew he didn't want to address that. Cody knew that's an embarrassing moment. Cody knew that when Roman comes back, whenever he does, whichever week, whichever show he's on, and Cody's on it, Cody is second fiddle. Cody is basically Roman's bitch. That's it. And I've always supported Cody Rhodes on the show. You guys know that. There's a lot of people that don't. And, you know, they have no... they don't try to hide the fact that they're just not big Cody supporters or not Cody supporters at all. And that's much respect. To each their own. I used to like Jinder Mahal. A lot of people didn't. That's cool. I did for some reason. But I always supported Cody Rhodes. But, you know, I also... You know, you support somebody like I always did with Mercedes, with Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt. You know, you call out the booking if it's questionable and bad because you know it should be better. So Cody just has to be careful. He's starting to kind of enter these waters of redundancy, straight boredom, and just a questionable run. Not just even a title run. Just even if Cody didn't have a title. This is a questionable run right about now, right? These constant matches with a dude that lost 41 straight matchups, taking on, challenging your own buddies for the title because there is no other top heels. The only guy is Jacob Fatu. They're going to wait on that. And he's not even in that spot yet, right? You still have to build Jacob Fatu. He's not there yet. More so, that's the money match than Solo for sure. But we're still a ways off before Jacob Fatu, man. Still got to build him like a monster. Cody Rhodes, man. Fans are starting now more than ever to go, they better fix this, or else they're jumping off the Cody train. I told you this was going to happen. Everybody wanted to finish the story, and they weren't thinking about what's next. Finish the story, and then what? It had to be at 39. You wouldn't see that at WrestleMania 12, right? We all knew Shawn Michaels had to get that boyhood dream was the whole thing, right? Shawn Michaels is going after his childhood dream of becoming champion. That couldn't wait another year. You can't do that. You can't have him fail at 12 and try to do it all again at 13 and think it's going to be the same. That magic was there at WrestleMania 12. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Iron Man match. Shawn had to walk away with that title. The tears in his eyes. The celebration afterwards. That emotional moment. That was it. WrestleMania 12. If you miss that, if you botch that, it is a massive fail. You can't do that again. You can't get that back. Same thing at 39, right? That was the time for Cody. There's no waiting a year when you knew Roman was walking away anyway for the majority of the rest of the year. There's no reason he takes the title with him while Cody just sits through a Judgment Day feud for 87 months and a Brock Lesnar feud for 31 months. Slight exaggeration. Cody Rhodes, guys. I don't know how you feel about Cody Rhodes, but a lot of the community, even if it's subconsciously, even if they, like BC, support Cody, a lot of fans are starting to go, this isn't it. This ain't hitting. They have to change this. Does Hunter even realize what he's doing with Cody? And Cody's act, this whole act of just coming out and what do you want to talk about? And then there's just when Cody is amplified, man, when there's that serious, I mean, that's the best Cody, man. It really is. Look, I know I say that about a lot. Like you'd say that about Miz. I used to say about Matt Riddle, right? When they get away from just clinging to their act and they get to that just genuine, those genuine qualities, just go straight like the Emotions movie. What is that? Inside Out, right? Just replace all of them. Embarrassment, joy, sadness, fear, all those, is it emotions? Yeah, the emotion, the Inside Out, right? Replace them with all angers, right? A lot of anger, just 5 angers. And just go out with that every week. Be an amplified Cody. But just going out there and just playing like this heel character, basically, in the suit, and he's just, he's just calmly talking. I don't know, man. Oof. Even BC's going to say it's growing a little tiresome. All right, so that was the first. We had to spend a long time on that. That's the top story, guys. Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline start the show. They make a match with Solo and Cody, a rematch in a steel cage next week. Is that enough to make people tune in from broadcast to cable to tune in next Friday to USA Network? Maybe. Maybe a lot of people are just going to see how the presentation is on USA, right? I'm sure they're going to get a bump in rating just as well. I don't know. They were getting over 2, barely, but over 2 because it was broadcast. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they pull, but they're going to put a title steel cage match. This was 20 minutes of what are we doing? All of that to set up that cage match. Cody Rhodes is getting a We Want Roman chant. Solo as well. I mean, it's directed for, but that's what I mean. It's Cody's, you got Cody, man. They don't care. First matchup of the night, Bayley and Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time. Bayley, Tiffany Stratton. Referee Jessica Carr is calling this match. Tiff had Bayley pinned at one point. Late in the match, Tiffany had Bayley pinned, but Nia Jax is on the apron distracting Jess because a moment earlier, Bayley did a suicide dive or something, but dove out on Nia Jax. Nia got pissed, jumped up on the apron while Tiffany is pinning Bayley. So it was at the detriment of Tiffany. And moments later, Bayley is pinning Tiffany Stratton via Rose Plant. finisher. That's a pinfall victory for Bayley over the briefcase holder, Tiffany Stratton. So just like she said backstage to Tiffany, maybe I'll help you like you helped me last week. And of course, Tiffany didn't exactly help Nia. So Nia kind of consciously or subconsciously, on purpose or not so much, but either way, she cost Tiffany this match. I was down for the match itself. I knew the finish was going to be convoluted. I thought it would be more convoluted. I thought Michin would be down there with kendo sticks. Nia would play an even bigger role. But I was just down for seeing Tiffany and Bayley. When Tiffany's in that ring, it just feels special. I mean, she is just a natural star, and this was from the jump. You put her in there with somebody like Bayley, I'm down with the match. And then hour one ends with Waller versus Theory versus Owens. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. Triple threat match for no reason. Because backstage earlier, Kevin Owens came across Waller and Theory and said, hey, we should all have a match. There was a funny line where Owens told Waller and Theory, it's like the great Wayne Gretzky once said, you're here, you're here, you're here, we should all have a triple threat match. And for the rest of that backstage promo between the three, Austin Theory has this confused look on his face, like he's really struggling with his thoughts. Owens eventually leaves. Grayson is trying to tell Austin Theory, like trying to come up with a plan, like this dude thinks he's gonna beat us. And Theory's just like, I don't think Wayne Gretzky said that. It was really funny because BC was thinking creatively. I was already thinking like, if they're smart, man, when Theory says his final line, it should be something about Wayne Gretzky's supposed statement, right? His supposed quote that Kevin Owens said Gretzky said. I just thought that was funny. I'm so glad they actually had Theory said that. That was the first time I legit LOL'd at something Austin Theory did. Genuinely LOL'd at something Theory did, or said, I should say. So that was a funny line. Match itself, I mean, this was exactly what you would think, a triple threat for no reason whatsoever. So it was weird when things like Theory stopping Waller from pinning Kevin Owens, it was so odd when that happened, because it's not like there's a title on the line, or it's not like a number one contendership or something like that. There's nothing on the line. It's just you guys have to pin Kevin Owens. So he rips Waller out of the way, and even commentary is trying to find like something, like a reason. So like Corey Graves tried to save it. He was stuttering over his words though, but he's like, well, of course Theory did that because whoever pins the guy getting pinned, they're going to have a bigger part of the winner's purse. Well, that's news to BC. They never talked like that before. So he's trying to like come up with that reasoning. Michael Cole is trying to hold back laughter. But they tried to save it, right? It's because Austin wants a bigger portion of the winner's purse. At that point, just try to sell the friction between the two, right? Because for many weeks they've been there's a little bit of tension there with Austin and Waller. So just sell it that, you know what I mean? Ego and pride is on the line. That's why he ripped Waller off. But they were just as confused. It was just weird. Triple threat match for no reason. There was nothing on the line. It's a triple threat match. And we're just seeing Owens in there with Waller and Theory for the 545th time this year alone. And you're going to end this matchup with Owens hitting the stunner on Theory for the win, by the way. So, a little bit of a consolation prize for doing the job for Cody at Berlin last Saturday. Another pin over Theory. Theory and Waller continue to be completely irrelevant every week. Post-match, Waller and Theory attack Owens, by the way. So they just 50-50 book the segment. When they don't have anything, they just have the dude win, and then afterwards, the dude that lost beat up the dude that won. That way, you look like a winner too. We can wash our hands with it and move on to the next segment. That's what they did. Owens collects a W, and then just gets beat up by Waller and Theory. The same thing we've been seeing for months. Guys, literally, I put this in my notes in capital letter, literally nothing got accomplished here. Nothing got accomplished in this segment. This was just straight filler personified. Owens, Waller, and Theory again in the ring. Owens with a win, and then Owens gets beat up afterwards. Maybe this leads to more Owens, Waller, and Theory next week. Maybe Owens will get a tag team partner. We could do another tag match. Exhilarating television. And then, so that ended hour number 1. We started hour number 2 with Giovanni Vinci. Wait till you hear how Giovanni Vinci re-debuted, right? Came back to WWE television. Wait till you hear how Hunter Hearst Helmsley booked this dude. So Giovanni Vinci returns, and at first, man, he's in the parking lot. He's getting out of I don't know, his rental car. I forgot exactly what it was, but it's a sleek rental car. He jumps out of it. He's got his like pure white tracksuit on. You know, I mean, I'm like, okay, wait. They're showing him arrive, jumping out of the car. He's looking fresh. I mean, maybe Hunter actually has a plan here. That's good. Maybe Giovanni Vinci is going to be off to the races. You get a first chance at a first impression. This is his chance. Let's go. That's what I was thinking, right? They showed him getting out of that car. I'm like, all right, here we go, man. Maybe Giovanni is going to be a big part of this. Giovanni gets in the ring to start hour 2. He gets in the ring. Can't even get his tracksuit off. Apollo Crews pins Giovanni Vinci in seconds via the awe-inspiring Fruit Roll-Up. The awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Fruit Roll-Up. Giovanni Vinci loses to Apollo Crews, who the last time Apollo Crews won a match was just before the Revolutionary War. Apollo Crews pins Giovanni Vinci, and within seconds, by the way, and via a roll-up. You can't be any more of a joke than Giovanni was presented last night. So you can easily say, well, there's a plan. I mean, this is obviously going to lead. He'll beat Apollo, and then there'll be a push. A big push is coming. Why would this be the first thought you have? Giovanni's going to debut. Right, you have the creative magic pen, right? You have the creative pen of the company. And you know Giovanni is coming back. Now, your job is to book Giovanni the best way possible. And your thought is, what if we have Apollo? Is Apollo still with us? Is he in the company? Yeah, get Apollo in there. Right when the bell rings, just have Apollo just roll him up. 1, 2, 3, Giovanni loses looking up at the lights. Like, Giovanni can't even kick out of the roll-up, right? He's got his tracksuit. He can't even get out of his tracksuit. How can we make this dude look so damn goofy in the shortest amount of time? And then that'll be the thing, right? That's the first impression. So everybody can just look at Giovanni as this little joke type character, right? Giovanni, he's got a personality now. He's funny. He's like Doink the Clown. Giovanni Vinci. I know a lot of you guys don't watch the show. You listen to BC's review. If something sounds really good, you'll go back and watch. If it doesn't, you're like, thank you, BC, for watching this for us. That really happened last night. That's how Hunter Hearst Helmsley booked Giovanni Vinci. And the excusenists will say, don't worry, big push ahead. It's the same thing I say about Dragunov. Dragunov can win 100 matches in a row. You can put 3 titles on Dragunov from here on out. Now, a lot of us cannot forget about how Dragunov was booked the last several months since he debuted, which is below average. He is literally just a spoke on the wheel. So I use this all the time, but I have to say it again because I know there's new subscribers always jumping on. There's people that don't get to watch every upload, but I use the Yankees analogy, right? The Yankees can win a whole month worth of baseball. They can win 25 games in a single month. But we're not going to forget that they lost almost all their games this past June. And we know that the Yankees can be that bad for that long. You can't put too much stock in them. You can't look at this Yankees team and think they're going to win a World Series when they can be that bad for that long. So that's always in a Yankee fan mind this year, right? That's the team that they can be at any moment, that bad. So even when they're really good, we can't just forget that. Same thing with pro wrestling. Dragunov, you can give him a 100-match win streak. Put 3 different titles on him at the same time. We're not going to forget that Dragunov couldn't even beat Ricochet once, and then he couldn't even beat him again. Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, you name it. Dragunov looks like he can't get by anybody in the mid-card. And this is a guy that should have been a superstar, a headliner, a main eventer. And he just loses all the time. But don't worry, BC Dragunov's going to be something. I'm sure. Eventually, Hunter's going to have to push him. It's like Bronson Reed. You mingle the guy for 2 years doing absolutely nothing. And then when it's time to give him a push, you got to go extra, right? You got to have him literally squashing pro wrestlers just to make people care. He missed the show last week, and even with all the buzz with squashing people, most fans were saying, oh yeah, I forgot about Bronson. He wasn't on the show. They forgot Bronson wasn't even on Raw. That's what I mean. You have to work 10 times harder because you made the dude a bum. There's no reason to debut people like that, or bring people in and put them on losing streaks, or have them lose more than they win. That's the reason Melo feels mellow AF on the roster right now. That's why people like Melo and Dragunov, they just feel like another spoke on the wheel. That's why, man, the booking is so odd. You don't always have to humble everybody down and deconstruct them to try to rebuild them. Some of these wrestlers are coming in ready to rock. They're built. They're ready. The company, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, they make it harder for themselves. Giovanni Vinci. Instead of booking this dude strong from the jump, quick Apollo Crews fruit roll-up. Did you hear about Giovanni? Goofball. Come on. There was a chant when he got out of that car earlier in the night. I was like, oh shit, they're going to make something out of Giovanni. Yes, a month or 2 month feud with Apollo. And eventually he'll beat Apollo. Probably get a rubber match, right? He'll probably beat Apollo next week. Then they'll have a rubber match. Giovanni Vinci, guys. That was his debut. That's a real thing. LA Knight. LA Knight is in there next. He's cutting a promo. Who came out, man? Was it Melo? Melo interrupts. Melo comes to the ring. Melo says, and I quote, he's been putting SmackDown on his back the last several weeks, having match of the night. So LA Knight shreds Melo. LA Knight responds by saying, I don't give a damn about having match of the night. I care about winning. It was great, guys. Guys, it was so great. It reminded me of MJF in his AEW iconic promo where he's like, I don't have to do flips and dives and put my career on the line every night to make you guys care about me for 5 minutes. He says, I make you feel, right? That's the reason I'm in the position I'm in with championships and the top of the card, the main events. I make you feel. I'm not here just to do all the cool flips and dives and make you clap like seals and chant stupid things like this is awesome. MJF, I'll never forget that. Melo comes out and he's looking at a dude with finally a championship and he's just like, in case you haven't been keeping track, I've been having match of the night recently. And LA Knight's like, I don't give a damn about match of the night. I don't care about imaginary stars that some idiot's going to give me. I don't care if people are going to start chanting, this is awesome, 2 minutes into a match. I care about winning. I care about gold. It was great, man. And then Andrade comes down. They gave Andrade a microphone. Don't know whose bright idea that was, man. Andrade comes out, cuts a long-ass, horrible promo. And LA shreds him, too. LA absolutely shreds Andrade like he did Melo. LA just says, I don't have a damn clue what you just said. After that long-ass promo of absolutely nothingness, LA Knight just goes, I don't have a clue what you even just said, bro. So that pops the crowd, obviously. And then you have Andrade pissed off, right? Like, you don't know what I said? He pushes LA Knight. I think Melo took out Andrade, if I'm correct. Melo took out Andrade, and then Melo was hit with BFT from LA Knight. So basically, the last man standing was LA Knight. Andrade and Melo are in the ring, like, trying to recover from their wounds. And that ends this segment. Listen, LA was LA last night. Straight fire. No issues with him. LA was LA, shredding people. Melo is still a work in progress, and it's going to be a long work in progress, but he's going to be fine, I feel. Andrade needs assistance ASAP. The focus now has to be Andrade and the assistance that he needs ASAP. He needs a mouthpiece, right? When he was with Zelina, it worked. I say it all the time. It's like Rusev and Lana. Some things just work. They work. Sensational Sherry and Macho Man. Yeah, the Macho King. BC, what about Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man? Yeah, for that it worked. But when Macho Man became Macho King and he aligned himself with Queen Sherry, Sensational Sherry, it just worked. And they would both come to the ring on their thrones being carried. It just worked, right? Lana and Rusev worked. Zelina and Andrade just worked. Andrade's got all the skill in the world, can carry storylines, but Zelina has to help carry them with him. Zelina has to be the mouthpiece. Zelina can wrestle as well. You put him in mixed tags, BC is there for it. But unfortunately, Andrade just has him now. And that doesn't mean just throw him in groups. LWO, LDF. Just give him a mouthpiece. Because that's not going to work. I'm telling you guys, every time you give this dude the stick and he goes to the middle of the ring, I don't know who you think he's captivating. All the skill in the world when you get in that ring. All the "this is awesome" chants and the stars that some idiot's going to give you. It's not going to help people be invested in you after the match. Nobody's going to care. Right? I call it manufactured fake excitement. We like the dude, so we want to feel a certain way. But when the music hits and he comes out that curtain, ain't nobody flipping out for Andrade. And if we're seeing like progression at least, right? Like it's getting better. The reactions are getting better. The presentation, the booking, right? Then that's good. We're not though. We're just seeing him thrown out there in all these situations that nobody cares about. And then you give him a stick for several minutes, and what are we doing? Is that supposed to generate interest? It's depressing. That hot Canada crowd went cold quick. If you watched it, go back and watch again if you didn't realize it. If you didn't watch it, and you're like, was it that bad, BC? Go back. All throughout Andrade's promo, man. LA Knight probably felt he had to save this segment somehow. So he had to shred him, bro. I don't know. Because the crowd went cold instantly. That needs attention quick. The presentation of Andrade, the booking of Andrade. This is what I didn't want, right? When you heard Andrade's coming back to WWE, because he's such a good dude, he is a good wrestler, you're thinking, oh, cool, man. I hope they have a plan for him and this could work. And then you immediately are met with the thought of, if they don't have a plan for him, it's just about the wrestling, this is not going to work. Have a mouthpiece for him, have a plan, and then the storylines can take a life of its own. But unfortunately, this is not it, man. And Andrade coming out is making BC go, oh, fuck, here we go. Are we going to get another Andrade Melo match? That's it. That was the segment. LA Knight tried to save it. He had a couple of good shredder lines, but aside from that, Melo talking about having match of the night, and that's what he cares about. Andrade talking about whatever he was talking about. And LA Knight just walks away, just beating them both up anyway. So that's it. That's the segment. Chelsea Green is up next. I am becoming a big supporter of Chelsea Green, man. I'm telling you right now. She showed up to NXT Tuesday. I'm never able to catch a whole NXT like AEW. I got to go back and watch most of it after the fact. I was able to catch Chelsea Green. I forgot what she was even doing. I think that was before Julia came out to confront Roxy and make their match for the CW in the championship. And the lights went out. Everyone was expecting Julia, but it was Chelsea Green. And she was just hilarious. She was absolutely dragging the crowd in attendance, you know. Why does this section smell like complete BO? It's called deodorant. And then she goes to the ring and she's like, I had to grace my fans with my presence. Well, most of them. Some of them are creepy. Chelsea Green, bro. She was just on it on Tuesday. And it really made BC go like, she is a special talent, man. Not the best wrestler, obviously, in the ring, but pro wrestling, especially WWE, you got to be more than that anyway. Chelsea Green checks off so many boxes. And then you see her show up last night. And it's actually becoming like a welcome sight. Like, it's like, oh, Chelsea's coming out, right? BC starts to feel something there. Like, Chelsea is at least going to be entertaining. So Chelsea Green is up. BC is quickly met with the realization that I'm becoming a big supporter of Chelsea Green. Some of you guys are like, welcome, BC. What took you so long? Chelsea's awesome. Other fans are probably going to be like, nah, BC, not Chelsea. But BC is digging Chelsea Green, man. A big W over Michin via Unpretty Her pinfall. Massive assist to Doo-Doo Drop, who squashed Michin on the outside beforehand. Chelsea Green then collects the pinfall off of Unpretty Her. Chelsea Green is a motherfucking superstar. That's it. That's how I'm going to leave it. BC is on board. The booking for Michin is questionable, though. Michin has this street fight championship match with Nia Jax last week. Of course, she's not going to win the title. She takes the L. And then immediately, 7 days later, you just have her lose against Chelsea Green, of all people. Now, as a supporter as I am being of Chelsea Green, this is what you throw Michin in? Like this, a quick loss 7 days later after she already lost the title match. Now she can't even beat Chelsea. And this will just lead to Michin and Doo-Doo Drop. Okay, you better make this story top notch. Or is this just Michin collecting a bunch of L's, but she'll have the ultimate redemption by beating Doo-Doo Drop and Chelsea Green in a few weeks? Right? See, she got the ultimate revenge. She ended up beating Chelsea and Doo-Doo Drop. Well, is that... It's questionable, man. You just don't take somebody, you don't put them in a championship street fight, and then throw them in a quick match with Chelsea also on the losing end. It's questionable for Michin. And then you go into the main event, a boring 8-man tag. That's literally what I put in my notes. A boring 8-man tag with a beyond boring finish. Solo Sikoa pins Montez Ford, and the Bloodline defeats DIY and the Street Profits, and the show ends with the Bloodline posing to the hard cam like we saw for months leading up to SummerSlam. You would have thought you were watching a replay of SmackDown from the last several months. You're hoping for, maybe not expecting, because this company and how they book SmackDown especially has been so off, maybe not expecting, but you're hoping for a massive cliffhanger to a really good main event. Their main event is an 8-man schmaz. It doesn't matter how many cool moves and exciting flips and dives you got. Fast-paced, non-stop action. This is awesome chants. It doesn't matter. It's an 8-man schmaz. There's nothing on the line. There's no care. There's no reason for this. So the match itself is like, all right, you can just read the results online and you miss nothing. So you're hoping at least that the finish is going to be just of epic magnitude. And it just ends with the Bloodline posing to the hard cam. And they go off the air forever on Fox. That was the last show on Fox. And they didn't even make you care to pick up the remote next Friday night and switch over to cable television and the USA Network. There's no reason. Solo and Cody are going to have another match, but they're going to put a fence around it, right? Steel cage is what they say to make it sound really cool. It's a fence. It's a fence. I miss the old school. Back in the day, they used to have like it was like a blue cage, right? And they had the big, it was like all squares so you could climb it and try to go over the now they just put like a fence around it. It's a fence. You can go in the backyard, you can have a steel cage match, right? Your parents call that a fence match. That was it. That was how they ended the show, man. No cliffhanger at all. The Bloodline wins this weird 8-man tag, and then they pose to the hard cam. Remember everybody said when DIY lost the titles after 28 days? Don't worry, man, there's a plan. DIY is going to be even better now. Yeah, I see that booking, man. They're irrelevant. You thought people didn't care about DIY before? After they had their 28-day title reign, they care about them even less somehow. Street Profits, I don't even know what we're doing with the Street Profits. They quietly and absurdly turn heel by joining Bobby Lashley. Could have been cool, but Hunter Hearst Helmsley had no plan for Bobby Lashley Street Profits faction. There's no plan. Put them together just to say F you to Bobby and MVP that wanted the Hurt Business back, a version of it. Hunter said, no, I'm going to put you with the Street Profits, and then gave them nothing. So they quietly and absurdly turn heel. And then when that didn't work because Hunter didn't make it work and Bobby is out of the company, they quietly turn and absurdly turn the Street Profits back to faces. They're still looking up at the lights, man. Solo, Spike, and Montez is like, I'm just going to lay here for a while. Bloodline to the hard cam to try to make Solo seem like a beast, right? All of these shows that end with Solo and the Bloodline posing to the hard cam because they have to now, right? Because you booked Solo to lose 41 matches in a row. He lost 41 in a row after he beat Cena last year. 41 matches in a row was lost. And when that happens, your fans subconsciously just label him a loser. He's done. All right. He's not a big main eventer. So now every show basically for the last several months has to end with the Bloodline looking at the hard cam as these badass beasts. It ain't working, bro. It ain't working. And that was the last show on Fox for WWE. SmackDown on Fox. That's it. So I can't say on this show, 2 hours primetime, going against the Packers and Eagles game. If you were to ask me, PC, what were the best moments, man, if I didn't watch the show and I'm asking what should I go back and watch? Nothing. Guys, there's nothing. The only thing I was looking forward to was Bayley and Tiffany. It's not worth going back and watching, though. There's many other things the next day you could easily go and watch. But Bayley and Tiffany would have on paper been the only thing. And then the only thing that really was, I mean, just because I'm becoming a supporter of Chelsea Green, her beating Michin is not something you'd go back and watch. Definitely not the main event 8-man tag that led to nothing but the Bloodline posing to the hard cam. The night started off in a 20-minute segment just to get Cody and Solo's rematch confirmed. Steel cage next week. And then you just saw weird things like Giovanni Vinci rolled up by Apollo Crews in 30 seconds. Kevin Owens having another match with Theory and Waller. I mean, this is what happened. Andrade and Melo trying to cut a promo on LA Knight, getting shredded on the mic, and that's it. Next segment, please. That's it. I just went over the whole show in 60 seconds on the recap of this review. 60 seconds, guys. That's not nitpicking. That's not being negative for the sake of being negative. I'm trying to see where for a 2-hour show, this show popped off. Hunter's cooking. Everyone's eating good. The fans are eating good. Whoa, what a SmackDown. No, I'm trying to look for it. Nothing. SmackDown's been off anyway, but Cody Rhodes is the one, man. Cody Rhodes, Fans are turning. I don't know if this title reign can even go to WrestleMania. It's going to have to, right? 2 years of trying to finish the story. He doesn't lose the title before Mania. But are fans going to care by then? I mean, thankfully he has the kids and they drag the parents, so the families are definitely going to be for Cody. But that Roman chant, man, you're starting to hear that a lot more when Cody is out there, right? And that's because they continue to parade him out there with the Bloodline, so it's convoluted. So they want Roman to take out Solo, but they got Cody instead, but it's not good enough. They want Roman, and he's the star that's not there. He's, his absence is making him more special in that aspect. It's making the demand for him even stronger. Meanwhile, Cody's putting in all the work over there, and Cody is just like, Cody, yeah! And then the music shuts off, and they're like, we want Roman! It's not working for Cody now, man. It's starting to kind of go reverse. Everyone has to sit at Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Cody Rhodes, suits and ties, creative writers, whoever they may be. They all have to sit down and go, all right, the tide is turning, and we got to kind of stop that tide a little bit. We got to do some damage control, and we're not talking Io and Kari. So hopefully they get that fixed, man, because when Roman comes back every week, Cody cannot be his bitch. Can't happen. And even when Roman is not there, they can't continue to just want Roman more. Something's got to give. And it starts with Cody's presentation and booking. That's what I got for you guys. SmackDown, September 6, 2024, the last ever show on Fox. Starting next week, SmackDown is on the USA Network. It's going to get some taking used to, man. We got to get used to that. BC's probably going to be on Fox next Friday, right? Where's SmackDown? And this sets off that chain of events again. A couple weeks, NXT is being booted off of USA. They'll be going to CW at the end of the year. You're going to have USA booting Monday Night Raw, and that'll go to Netflix streaming. So it all starts next week with SmackDown moving over to the USA Network. That's what I got for you guys. Enjoy your weekends. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. BC in the unit saying check you.